Hey FlossTube, it's Julie with Reflections Framing and Stitching. Today is Saturday the 4th of April and it is the Chart of the Day video number 12 today. Yesterday's question of the day about books seemed to be a big hit and I enjoyed reading everyone's comments. There were a couple of comments that I just had to respond to right away because they were about books that I liked that I didn't mention, mostly because they're maybe not as popular as others, but I had a comment right away on a couple of them. I still do intend to comment on everything, and maybe this weekend if I'm not. I gotta be busy painting things this weekend, so I don't know if I'll be able to, but maybe. I don't know if I mentioned, but I had to cancel retreat, so everything's going to roll over to the fall, but I'm still trying to get all the projects done so that I'm not scrambling. I could procrastinate, which is what I would normally do, is procrastinate my way right on into September. But I'd like to try not to do that, so I'm going to try and work on it every weekend and try and get everything done, so that's not hanging over my head all summer long. So anyway, thank you again for participating. It was fun to read what your favorite books were. Moving on to today's chart of the day, I have chosen Annie B's again, Threadneedle Street. It's a very cute little chart. It's got this nice checkerboard border, and look at the windows. They're also checkerboard. Has a nice saying on it. We don't say goodnight till our stitching's complete. That's how we roll here on Threadneedle Street. I just think it's a very cute chart, and you gotta love that checkerboard. You gotta. The floss, hey look, I remembered to put it on a ring. Here's the floss that's called for. Not too many. Some are DMC, some are overdyed. The called for fabric is vintage navy bean or navy bean from Lakeside Linens in a 36 count. I am almost out of 36 count vintage navy bean, so don't call me and ask for it because this is literally all I have. But if you happen to have some in your stash, that's what it calls for, and that's what the threads look like. Should you not have any, I think you could probably get by with Nantucket Brew. I've got two different dye lots of Nantucket Brew. I think they're going to look the same to you, but one of them is slightly more gray than the other. Either one would work. It's showing up blue for me, but it's gray. And this is a 36 count. I didn't get too wild and crazy with this one. This is Liberty Gathering Gray, and it's more like almost like a putty kind of color. Actually closer to the navy bean than the Nantucket Brew is. But it would also look very nice. I think there's plenty going on in that chart that you don't really need a whole lot going on in the fabric. But I did find one that I kind of like. Well, not kind of. That I do like. I've showcased this fabric before. It's the Properly Primitive from Under the Sea Fabrics. And remember, This is not color fast. But I really like the colors on there too. What do you think? Which one do you like? So, that's the chart of the day today. It was a fairly busy day today. Dan's been here twisting floss for me because I haven't had time to do it. But I've told him he had to be quiet. I'm hoping that the two of us can do a video tomorrow, and he can show you his progress on, I can't remember the name of it, the George Washington, Paul Revere thing that he's working on from Plum Street. So look for hopefully a video from the two of us sometime tomorrow. But I asked him, okay, so I have had, let me back up. Y'all know what a earworm is? If you don't, it's like a catchy song or tune that gets stuck in your head and plays over and over and over. And I have had one for a couple of weeks now, and it's starting to drive me nuts. That 1, 2, 3. It's as easy as can be. From Florida Georgia Line. Gets stuck in my head every time I hear it. Normally I shut it right off. I like the song, but it just, for some reason, it gets stuck in my head and plays over and over. I wake up to it in the morning. I go to bed with it playing in my head at night, and I'm kind of tired of it. And so I've been trying to come up with other songs to think about in my mind that might, boot it off my radar, but so far I haven't had any luck. But it got me thinking about songs. And one of the, Dan, I can hear you. I'm gonna kill the man. Maybe I should put a pillow over his face. Anyway, songs. So I asked Dan what the first song he could remember liking, other than, nursery rhymes and things like that, but the first, popular song that he could remember liking. And he told me it was, I wrote it down somewhere here. He told me it because don't shoot me, I am not a Rolling Stone fan. He said, "Give Me Shelter" from the Rolling Stones is about the first song he can remember liking. And the reason for it was because that he danced to it with his first love, Elizabeth Ruff. I always do that to her last name. It's actually Elizabeth Ruff. I've never met the woman, the girl. They were in 8th grade, I think. When, hold on. And we're back. He was over in Portugal when he knew Elizabeth Ruff. And I don't think he's ever gotten over his first love. So it's the problems with doing a video when you're still technically taking phone calls. And I don't remember where I was. I think it was about Portugal. His dad was in the military, so they were over there. And I don't think he's ever gotten over his first love because he still talks about her with great fondness. Anyway, that was the first song he can remember liking as a teenager, preteen teenager. And there are 2 songs that I remember. I don't know which one was the first song. They probably were about the same time period. But one of the songs that I remember being the first song that I liked that wasn't something like Puff the Magic Dragon or a nursery rhyme was Leaving on a Jet Plane. I heard it the first time when we were up in Stewart and I was at my cousin's house And I don't know why it stuck, but it did, and I've always liked that song no matter who's singing it. And I don't remember who was singing it at the time. But I do remember enjoying that song. And the second song I remember that's probably, again, like about the same time frame was Ride, Captain, Ride. And again, I don't remember who's singing it, but I remember the first time I ever heard it was when, okay, so back in the day, Mom was saving up the, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but part of the box from Imperial Margarine, and if you, maybe the Crown, and if you sent that in, you saved up so many and you sent it in, then you got a transistor radio back. So Mom saved up enough of them that she could send them in, and she got a transistor radio for Robin, Jeff, and myself. Melanie at the time, I think, was still too young for something like that. And I can remember clearly sitting out on the front porch and opening up the package. And Mom had given us all batteries for the radio, and I put them in, and I turned the radio on, and I tuned it into a station. I think it was probably the first station that I found, and playing was Ride, Captain, Ride.
New Image.
What, Dan?
Blue Image is the name of the group.
New Image?
Blue.
Oh, I don't know. And it became one of my favorite songs, and I think that's just because it was the first one that I ever heard on my radio. So my question for you is, what is the first song you remember liking as a preteen teenager? And if there's a story that goes with it about why you like it, like Dan likes the Rolling Stone one because it reminds him of Elizabeth, and I like Ride, Captain, Ride because of the first transistor radio that came into my life. So I'd love to hear the story. We're going to go home here shortly and have some supper, and I think there's a new Hallmark movie on this evening, so we're going to watch Hallmark. Dan's thrilled about that one. And do a little stitching, and hopefully we will see you tomorrow with a video featuring the man, the myth, the dragon. Take care till next time. Bye-bye.